Hi, you're watching Maroondah Love Dialogues. I'm Norm Curry. Maroondah Love Dialogues is supported in part by a grant from the Maroondah City Council. Love Dialogues, what are they? A love dialogue is this love of one to the love of the other, communicated with love in between. Unconditional love insofar as we can manage it. Today, we'll be speaking with Reverend Professor Philip Hughes. Thanks for coming in again, Philip. We talked about love. What about hope? Hope has got to be a component of love. And we've been through a time where hope has been pretty rock bottom.
Yes, certainly. I think the time with COVID, dealing with that has really been testing of our hope. Certainly we'd made a lot of plans and a lot of ideas for last year, which had to be dropped.
Yes.
And not knowing when things would resume, I think, has really tested our sense of hope. Certainly as the lockdown continued and we were hoping that my son would be able to join us from across the border in another state, and he couldn't. And so
Right.
we made plans for the next few weeks, and then of course that was dashed again, and a number of times until finally he got to us at last Christmas. But it's hard sustaining hope through those sorts of challenging times. But it seems to me that there's two ways in which do help us in sustaining hope.
Yeah.
One of those ways is to remember that we have had challenging times in the past, and we've managed to get through them. And so you look back at those times which were difficult, and then note how those situations resolved themselves, and how you managed to get through. And that helps to give us some hope. I think the other way that gives us hope is by looking for what's good in the situation. So even if things are not working out as you would hope they might, there are some good aspects of life that are happening within the difficult situations. And certainly there was a number of times when we had cause to stop and think during the COVID lockdown of what was good about what was happening. About the opportunity to just walk around the local neighbourhood and to look at the gardens. And we met a few more neighbours during that time, and that was good. We also had time to do some other things, to do a little bit more reading, and so there was a range of things which said in every situation there's challenges, but there's also good things that one can find within those, and it's those which help to keep our hope going. So, and I think that that's true in general of relationships. It's certainly true that relationships are sustained by our hope that the other person will be there for us. The other person will be supportive of us when we need that sort of support. And again, there are challenging times with relationships, and it seems to me that in those challenging times, you remember the good times and build on those. But it's also in those challenging times that you look for the good in them.
Yes.
And find the positives in the midst of the negatives, as it were.
It's sort of, there's an old adage, and it's a little bit like having eggs for breakfast, but it's sunny side up. There's always a sunny side up. If you look for it within whatever it is, there's always something there.
Yes. Yes, that's
to grasp
right.
on.
That's right. Yes. Certainly, right through life, I've I think I've been sustained by sort of hope for what comes next. Certainly when I was young, I was looking forward to fulfilling my education and then moving on from that to making a contribution to the world through my work. At least that's what I was hoping to do. And there came a stage when I was looking forward to retirement, or at least semi-retirement, and certainly there's some hope that I might find full retirement one day. But in the midst of all of those, there's also some fears very often of what may emerge within those times, what may emerge in those futures, what may emerge even in our relationships with others. There can be challenges that are really hard to meet. And I think that there's often hope and fear that are sort of alongside each other. And the important thing is that hope dominates, that fear doesn't get on top of us. It
sort of comes back to the point you made in our discourse about love, and that's commitment. If you have a commitment to always put hope over fear, and that's your driver. The fear might be massive, but if you look at it and insist on coming to that place where hope arises within you, and you could use whatever tools you do. Some people use religious tools to do that, but to raise themselves so that the fear is diminished.
Yes, that's true. That's true. The other side of it, I think, is that we need to have some realism. There's some huge challenges for our planet at the moment with the environment.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think we are right to be somewhat fearful of the future. At the same time, I think we also need to be hopeful that we will overcome the challenges that are there. But we will need to work hard to find the solutions and to overcome the problems.
That raises in my mind the thought that one of the ways to also counteract loss of hope is to recognise that in losing hope, you're actually surrendering. And so when you talk about the environmental, it's very important that we don't surrender our entitlement to make the environment better, because if we do, we'll not just lose hope, we'll lose the fight.
Yes, that's true. That's true. So it is hope that actually sustains our action there, and sustains our moving forward in those sorts of situations. So in our general way in which we operate in society, but also in relationship to our relationships with others.
Yes, but there's actually nothing, or there may be more, but the most destructive emotion is to actually lose hope. When you speak to someone who's lost hope, it's quite devastating to see the darkness which they feel within them.
Yes.
And it's a malaise which we're dealing with fairly widely in the community, not just because of COVID, but because of the environment. It's another one.
Yes.
Plenty of indicators there that people are saying, well, particularly young kids, it's really quite serious.
It is.
So what would you say to pump up hope? What would you do to speak to someone? What would you say to them to pump their hope up?
I think it does go right back to the very way in which you see the world. And that may be the way in which you see God, or it may be the way in which the world has been created. Certainly out of that, one can see that challenges have arisen before and there's been some sort of resolution or solution. And so it is looking at those as a basis for hope. But it's also looking for what the good things are that are happening at the moment, which then helps to sustain us and provides us a basis on which we can build.
Yeah, it's a bit unprecedented, isn't it? The precedent is obviously that we're still here. And so all of the lack of hope did not result in us not being here. So actually being here is a positive point.
Yes.
Thanks very much, Philip. You're watching Maroondah Love Dialogues, and now we'll have a guided meditation with Frances Cassidy.
Hello and welcome to this session on hope. My name is Frances and I am part of the Love Dialogue team. Before we begin today's meditation, let's go back to the conversation between Norm and Philip on hope. With so many parts of our lives turned upside down during this pandemic, it is more important now than ever to find some hope in the midst of uncertainty. In this conversation, Philip acknowledges that sustaining hope is a difficult call for many of us. The not knowing that tests us. Family plans for holidays, for celebrations, for so many things in life, we have been tested to the limit. And yet, in saying that, we need to remember that we have had challenges in the past, and somehow we have got through them. Somehow, somewhere, we did find hope. We can dwell on all that has gone wrong. Or perhaps, like Philip, we can look at the situation differently. Learning to work differently. Finding ways to learn new skills that we thought we never could. Finding ways of turning negatives into good. Travelling less. Places are less congested. So even though that we often can't meet each other, we have this amazing technology that we can still see each other through media, through Zoom, FaceTime, and all sorts of ways we can connect and see each other. And perhaps during this pandemic, you have met more people than ever, especially going out for a daily walk or exercise, both which are very good for our health. Perhaps you've been doing a lot more things around the home. In a way, being in shutdown has kept us connected and getting to know our neighbours. And of course, we are always hopeful that 2020 has been filled with new opportunities, people caring more, being there for each other, worrying less about things that we cannot change, like gift of acceptance. But still, our fears do creep up in us, and what emerges is a sense of wanting to feel hope, but fear sits alongside this discourse. It is only through hope that our fear diminishes. It has also been a time of great devastation for many people. Many people have gone through great periods of darkness. Yet for some, even in these darkest times, with hope in a better future. The darkness has gone. Hope in a better future has prevailed. Accepting the challenges, assessing how we really view our world, our God, our planet, our universe, that there is hope. So it comes back to knowing that things will get better, because they usually do. In the end, the story has been written. Good wins in the end. So thank you, Philip, for sharing those insights with us today. So now let's move on to our guided meditation. And again, to begin with, sit in an upright but comfortable position. Allow your body to soften into your chair. And if comfortable, gently close your eyes. Find your inner stillness. Take in a deep breath, a deep, calming breath. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Our breathing helps us to focus on the inner space, allowing us to release tension and worries. Feel yourself relax with each breath. Feel the energy starting to flow, flowing down into your body, from the head down to your toes. Feel yourself relax. Feel the tension in the muscles releasing. Feel the skin of your scalp relaxing. The jaw relaxing. Your shoulders dropping down. The muscles in your back all relaxing. Quite simply, we focus just on our breathing. If thoughts come in, just let them pass. Don't stop to talk to them. Just observe them and let them go. Let your breath become more smooth and effortless. So what is hope? Hope is a choice. And hope makes us strong. There is nothing more powerful than hope. So when we are armed with hope, we can do anything. Hope is stronger than fear. Hope is stronger than anger. Hope is stronger than sadness. And we all have inner warriors that bring us power and stamina. We just have to welcome them forward. Embrace their strength, courage, compassion, and patience. we have an innate strength within each and every one of us. So having hope is believing that change is not only possible, but also inevitable, and it is within your power. It is knowing that this moment is not permanent, and that you always have the ability to do something different in the next moment. You are powerful enough to transform any moment into whatever you want it to be. You just have to believe and accept this fact. So I invite you to breathe in hope, breathe out anxiety. Relax the muscles in your face, your shoulders, your stomach, and your legs. And always return to the breath. The breath will help you to release any tension in your mind and your body, if you just allow it. There's a purpose behind every experience. It might be difficult to understand while we're in the midst of a catastrophe, but that is what makes hope so powerful. Everything will always work out for our highest good, and for the highest good of all living beings everywhere. One day soon, everything will make sense. Having hope that everything will come together in love and light. Have hope that you will learn invaluable lessons and grow into the wonderful person you're meant to be. Have hope that the universe is on your side and will never let you down. Breathe in deeply. Exhale calmly. Breathe in your own rhythm. Keep your mind present as the oxygen flows through your lungs and hope runs through your veins. And now I will state some simple yet familiar affirmations that you are free to repeat to yourself. If one resonates with you, hold it in your heart and repeat it to yourself whenever hopelessness begins to creep in. New beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. There is a purpose to every experience. What's meant to be will always find a way. The darkest nights produce the brightest stars. The roughest seas make the strongest sailors. The best view comes from the highest climb. So I want to leave you with these feelings of optimism and hope. Struggle does not exist without purpose and reward. Even our lowest moments, both as individuals and as a collective, will give rise to our proudest moments. We are strong because we made it through, not because we gave up. Struggles make us strong, not weak. Hope makes us powerful, not naive. Love makes us good. Forgiveness sets us free. Hope is a choice. May the choice find your purpose. Embrace your motivation and allow hope to bring you closer to wherever you are meant to be. Thank you for joining us for this meditation on hope. Go gently.
You've been watching Maroondah Love Dialogues. You can follow us on www.jansencentre.org. Thanks again for watching, and bye for now.